Hey everyone, so today's video is a project pan update. I'm really excited for this video because I'm only doing one project pan right now, so I don't get to do updates very often. With this project pan, it's not super strict. I'm pretty much just doing updates when I feel like I have things to update you guys on. So this isn't the most exciting update. The intro to this project was about a month and a half ago, so it hasn't been too long, but in general, I want to try to do it like 1 or 2 months in between each update so that it doesn't go too long for you guys without an update. And I also just like filming project pans. So let's go ahead and get into my progress. So the first product is a lip liner from ColourPop. I'm trying to finish this off by the end of the year. I'm not sure if it will happen because lip liners are very slow going. And I'm also not wearing a ton of makeup recently. So I feel like my products are going relatively slow. And I feel like at the end of the year, if I don't end up finishing or hitting my goal on these projects, I may do sort of a refresh, an end of year refresh, where either I can choose to keep them in or roll in some new products to start the new year. So anyways, my progress on this lip liner has not been very much. For the amount that I've used it, I'm surprised at how little progress I've made. So these are the line markings right here. And I thought I would have more progress on this lip liner, but in reality, I guess I haven't been wearing makeup very much, and I'm not using this lip liner every single time I apply makeup. This isn't my favorite lip liner. I feel like the ColourPop lip liners are so creamy, which I don't love. I do love a little bit more of a drier lip liner. So I'm ready to just get these out of my collection. They're also just really old. I do have a couple other ColourPop lip liners besides this one. So I would also just like to finish up the older products in my collection and get the older products out of my collection by using them up instead of just decluttering them. So hopefully I can make some good progress on this by the end of the year. Next up, I have a KVD lipstick. This is in the shade Ludwig, and this is from when the brand was actually Kat Von D. I have used a good amount of this, but there's still a ton of product left, and like I said, I'm not wearing makeup every single day and not a full face of makeup, so I haven't used this a ton. I have definitely used it and reached for it a few times, but again, there's not very good progress on this. You can see I just drew a line basically right next to my last line, so there's really very minimal progress on this. So this is another one I probably won't have done by the end of the year, but I'll either decide to keep it in this project if I don't get sort of burnt out by it, or I will just roll it out and sort of refresh at the end of the year. And then the last sort of stick product that I have is the Nude Sticks Nudies All Over Face color in the shade Hey Honey. So this is a highlighter, and I find that it's a little bit too dark when I'm at my fairest, so I am trying to use this up over the summer. It does work for my skin, but I just feel like this isn't anything amazing. It's obviously a highlighter, so it gives a little bit of glow to your cheeks, but I'm not in love with it. I find that it doesn't show up too well, and it is just really, really natural, so it's definitely not my favorite. I will be really happy to eventually get this out of my collection, and it is just a little mini, so there's barely any product in here, but again, this is still going to be a little bit of a struggle to use up. I should try to use this a little bit more often on my no makeup days, because the progress on it is similar to the Kat Von D lipstick. I basically drew a line right next to the old line, so the lines are kind of merging into one big line, but that's okay. I feel like, again, this is a really slow going one, similar to the lipstick and the lip liner. I find that lip liners are slightly more easy to make progress on because when you sharpen them, that really sort of increases your progress a lot. Obviously, the more you sharpen it, the faster you're going to use it up. So I find these, even though it looks like there's really not much product left, it still takes a while to go through. Next up, I have my e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. Mine is in the shade Light 23C. I do really like this concealer. It's kind of just an average light coverage concealer if you're looking for a good light coverage concealer. It's nothing extraordinary. I feel like with light coverage concealers, you can't really mess them up, but it is definitely hydrating under the eyes, and it does what it says. It kind of brightens up your under eyes. So sometimes if I feel like my face gets a little bit too dark, just if my foundation doesn't match or if I end up with too much bronzer or something, I'll just throw a little bit of this like in this area under my eye and sort of the sides of my cheeks to brighten it up a little bit, and I do really love this product for that, and just to use as an everyday really light concealer. I'm very, very close to finishing this. I didn't draw a marking on it because it was hard to tell last time, but I think it is now like up to here and the end of it is right there. So I only have like this much left. I feel like last time it was about maybe double that. So I definitely have made progress on this, but with how much I've used it, I feel like there's definitely not much product in here. So I definitely have gone through this really quickly. I haven't used it a ton recently. I used it more at the beginning of the month, so I should up my usage again on this just to have it finished by the next update. Now, this is probably one of my most exciting updates, but this is my Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper in the shade Soft Rose, and this looks like a big bottle, like it would take a really long time to go through, but I find that there's actually not much product in here, which is interesting. So you can see my markings there. Last time I obviously was at that top line, now I'm down here. So with the amount of times that I've used this, I feel like I wasn't expecting to have that much progress. So I'm surprised at how quickly I'm going through this because I feel like I didn't use it very much. So if I up my usage on this, I feel like I could have it done within the next month or two. And even just using it consistently as I have been, I could probably have it done within the next few months. I'm just really surprised at how little product is in here because it looks like such a big bottle, which is kind of annoying. This isn't my favorite lip gloss. It's definitely very thick, but it does look nice on the lips. So it's kind of just an average lip gloss. I don't really understand the hype of these, to be honest. But I would be interested in trying a different shade of this that I've heard is comparable to the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bombs. Oh, I almost forgot about my Vesca Soft Sun Radiant Skin Primer and Luminizer. This I feel like I have used so much, and this is my progress on it. So although I feel like primers are relatively easy to go through, I'm surprised at how slow this is going. I'm also not completely sure that these line markings are accurate because it's kind of hard to see through this bottle, but I feel like there's still a good amount of progress or a good amount of product in here for how much I have used it, because I feel like I've gotten a ton of use out of this and it's still not empty. So this could be a surprising one where I think I could be finished in a month or two, but it's just kind of never ending. Next up, I have my Lime Crime blush. This is in the shade Flash Drive. This is a really easy blush to throw on for every day. You can see there's progress in it that I've used it, but I'm not really sure how close to hitting pan I am. I feel like I'm relatively close. Like if I just consistently use this on the days that I apply makeup, I feel like I could hit pan by the next update, which obviously my goal is to hit pan, not to finish this off. But I will be really, really excited when I see that pan. This isn't like my favorite blush, but it is really, really pretty on really natural everyday days because I feel like I can use this and have this be the only cheek product on my cheeks because it sort of acts as a highlighter and a blush in one. So while this isn't my favorite and it's not anything extraordinary, I do still really enjoy using it. Next up, we have my Vesca bronzer in the shade Kiss by Santorini. This is another one where I'm not really sure how I feel about it and I haven't used it a ton. This has so much kickback when I use it. It's super, super powdery, so I feel like it will be pretty easy to hit pan if I were to actually consistently use it. But just because it has so much kickback and I feel like it's not really my favorite, I just haven't been reaching for it. It's also pretty warm, so I don't use this when, like, I feel like sometimes this can make my skin look a little bit too dark. Like my overall face just ends up looking a little bit too dark because this is so intense and pigmented, and like I said, there's a lot of kickback, so it's easy to get too much of this product on my brush. You can kind of see from the progress photos there's maybe like a tiny bit of more use on it, and I can slightly see the outline of where the pan is, but I feel like it still will take me a while to hit pan on this. Next up is my Never Ending face powder. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder And the reason this is never ending is because I really don't use very much powder when I powder my face. I really only use powder in my T-zone, so I'm not using a ton of it when I do use it. You can definitely see a little bit of progress in this, so I am starting to make progress. I feel like I may have to repress it, but it is pretty powdery and this does have a good amount of kickback. I've already had to repress this either once or twice, so that may be part of the reason, but I feel like this should be pretty easy to use up just if I consistently continue to use it. And I haven't used powder a ton, but I am happy with the little amount of progress I've seen. I feel like there's a little bit of expansion on the pan, so I will be happy to eventually have this completely finished off and have another powder out of my collection, because I haven't finished up a powder in years, mostly because I've been obsessed with cream products and I just never really use powder. But especially during the summer when I get a little bit more oily and sweaty, I do like to put a little bit of powder on my face just to feel more sort of secure and to know that my makeup is going to last. And then lastly, for the eyeshadow palette, I am sort of panning my ABH Norvina palette. I'm not doing like a full-on pan that palette with this. I really would just be happy to hit pan on one of these shades by the end of the year. And I do also want to kind of use all the shades in here, so I'm not specifically focusing on one shade. You can see from the progress photos, if anything, there's probably just a little bit more of a dip in this shade right here called Dreamer, just because that's really easy to use as an inner corner highlight. But I have used this palette quite a few times. I've dipped into most of these shimmer shades and actually quite a few of these matte shades as well, at least once. So I am happy with the overall usage I got on this, but obviously you're not gonna see a ton of difference because I'm dipping into every pan, not just focusing on one specific pan. But like I said, my goal for this is just to have pan on one shade in here by the end of the year. It'd be nice to have pan on a couple shades, but I also want to rotate through my other eyeshadow palettes, which is also kind of a theme with this project pan, is while I'm using these products, I also want to continue to use the other products in my collection, so I don't just want to use the same eyeshadow palette or the same lipstick every single time, because I feel like that's just not the most fun. Like, I want to get used out of my whole collection, and when I do that with Project Pan products, I tend to get really bored. I feel like it was easier to do that when I was doing like 3 or 4 Project Pans at once and I had multiple products of each category in a project pan where I could sort of still be rotating through them. But with one solo project pan going, I still want to be using the other products in my collection instead of sort of being forced to only use my project pan products. So that's just kind of my thought process with this project pan this year. So if you did enjoy this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I do post videos once a week, so if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified every time I post. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.